January 31st, 2000 routine flight off the coast of California turns into one of the most chilling moments in U.S. aviation history. Alaska Airlines Flight 261, a tragedy that would shake America's skies and forever change how we fly. But out of disaster came reform lessons that redefined airline maintenance, oversight, and safety for every passenger in the United States. This is a story of Flight 261 and how its legacy reshaped American aviation forever. He calmed before the flight. In the late 1990s, Alaska Airlines was one of America's most trusted carriers, known for friendly crews, reliable service, and connecting the Pacific Northwest to the rest of the world. It was Monday, January 31st, 2000. Alaska Airlines Flight 261 of McDonnell Douglas MD, 83 sat on the tarmac in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Its route was simple. First stop, San Francisco, then onward to Seattle. On board were 88 souls, families returning from vacation, business travelers, and a crew that passengers had come to trust. At the controls, Captain Ted Thompson, a veteran pilot with over 17,000 flight hours, and First Officer Bill Tansky, equally experienced and calm under pressure. In the cabin, flight attendants prepared for another smooth journey home. Just another routine flight heading north along the California coast, or so it seemed. At 31,000 feet, Alaska Airlines Flight 261 was cruising smoothly above the Pacific. The passengers relaxed. The crew moved through the cabin with quiet confidence. But in the cockpit, something didn't feel right. "Captain, it feels a little heavy. Pitch trim's not responding normally." First Officer: "Yeah, it's not trimming out. Something's binding." The pilots had noticed a problem with the horizontal stabilizer, a critical part of the tail that controls the airplane's pitch, helping it climb or descend smoothly. When that system fails, the aircraft can suddenly pitch up or nose down, and the crew has only seconds to react. First Officer: "Let's try manual trim. Maybe we can free it up." "Captain, go ahead." Slow inputs. They tried everything, switching between automatic and manual trim, running checklists, coordinating with maintenance on the ground. But the stabilizer remained jammed, frozen in place. Unknown to anyone on board, the problem ran much deeper than a stuck control. A single worn component hidden deep inside the tail was about to push Flight 261 past the point of no return. At 31,000 feet, Alaska Airlines Flight 261 suddenly pitched nose up, then sharply down. The passengers felt weightless for a moment before the aircraft leveled again. Something was terribly wrong. "Captain, we're having a jam with the stabilizer. We're trying to maintain altitude." NTSB, Alaska 261, Roger. Maintain 26,000 if able. First Officer: "We're trying, stand by." The source of the chaos was a single component, a jackscrew, a small threaded rod buried deep inside the tail. Its job: to move the horizontal stabilizer smoothly up and down, allowing the pilots to control the aircraft's pitch. But over time, the jackscrew's threads had worn away, the result of poor lubrication and mismaintenance. With nothing left to hold it in place, the stabilizer was about to break free completely. "Captain, it's stuck full nose down. I can't pull it up." First Officer: "Speeds increasing, trims jammed solid." The MD 83 began to pitch violently, nose up, then nose down. The crew fought with every ounce of strength and skill to regain control. Alaska 261, say intentions: "Captain, we're in a dive here. We're trying to pull out of it." Despite the violent forces tearing through the aircraft, Captain Thompson and First Officer Tansky remained calm, doing everything possible to save their passengers. For a moment, it seemed they had regained control, but the jackscrew had one final, catastrophic failure left. For a few precious minutes, it looked like Alaska Airlines Flight 261 might make it. The crew had fought their way out of a steep dive, regaining partial control. But the victory was short-lived. Without the jackscrew to anchor it, the horizontal stabilizer was free to move uncontrollably, sending the aircraft's nose sharply downward. First Officer: "Mayday, Mayday, Alaska 261. We're in a dive here." ATC, Alaska 261. Roger, say your position. "Captain, we're out of control. We're trying to recover." The MD-83 flipped inverted, flying upside down as the pilots desperately tried to stabilize it. Their voices stayed calm, professional, focused until the very end. "Captain, we're inverted and we're trying to get it back." At 4:22 p.m., Flight 261 plunged into the Pacific Ocean, 2.7 miles off the California coast. All 88 passengers and crew were lost. In the aftermath, investigators recovered a jackscrew assembly, the tiny part whose failure doomed the flight. What they found would change U.S. aviation forever. The tragedy of Alaska Airlines Flight 261 was more than an accident. It was a wake-up call. A lesson written in courage, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of safety. In memory of the 88 lives lost January 31st, 2000. In the days that followed the crash of Alaska Airlines Flight 261, the Pacific became the center of one of the most exhaustive air accident investigations in U.S. history. The National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, carefully reconstructed the MD-83 from thousands of recovered pieces. Their goal: to uncover what went wrong and to make sure it would never happen again. The focus quickly turned to a single part, the jackscrew, assembly, the same component the pilots had fought against in their final minutes. Investigators found its threads completely stripped, worn down to smooth metal. It wasn't a sudden failure. It was a result of years of mismaintenance and poor oversight. The lubricant that should have protected the threads hadn't been applied often enough. Without it, the metal wore away silently until nothing was left to hold the stabilizer in place. The NTSB's final report was damning. It cited Alaska Airlines' extended maintenance intervals and insufficient FAA supervision as key factors in the crash. The cost-cutting culture that once seemed harmless had now claimed 88 lives. But out of that tragedy came transformation. The FAA tightened oversight of airline maintenance programs. Inspection intervals for jackscrews and other critical components were shortened across the industry. Alaska Airlines rebuilt its maintenance protocols from the ground up. Today, every time an aircraft is inspected, every time a mechanic checks a component deep within a tail section, the legacy of Flight 261 lives on. The courage of Captain Ted Thompson and First Officer Bill Tansky, their calm professionalism in the face of the impossible, became a model for flight crews everywhere. From tragedy came progress. From loss, change. Alaska Airlines Flight 261, a heartbreaking reminder that aviation safety is written in the lessons of those we must never forget. From the wreckage of Flight 261 came hard-earned lessons that reshaped American aviation forever. Every inspection, every safety regulation, every flight that lands safely today carries a piece of their legacy. The story of Alaska Airlines Flight 261 reminds us that behind every safety rule, there are human lives, brave pilots, devoted crew, and passengers who trusted the skies. If the story moved you, if you believe these lessons should never be forgotten, help us keep their memory alive. Subscribe to Air Disasters for more real stories of courage, tragedy, and the breakthroughs that make flying safer for us all. Like this video, share it with others, and join a community that honors the truth behind the world's most powerful aviation stories. Air Disasters, because every flight has a story, and every story has something to teach us.